We made it through MAC Media Day in Detroit. Now we're doing Ohio Media Day in Athens. Hi, everybody. I'm Russ Eisenstein. He's Rob Cornelius. Back at it again at Top Eden Stadium with work on the Sook Center going on behind us. Fall camp work going on here for the Cats. Another chance for the media to ask the questions of Ohio, and a lot of folks are wondering about this really fun ball club that we're going to cover this year.
Well, it's going to be fun. It was fun last year. 40 points a game on offense. A lot of fun. About a week into this fall practice, trying to take it easy, not hitting those two-a-days. It's hard to keep guys healthy because you're going to be playing 14 games. Certainly hope so.
Yeah, that's the hope. Let's talk about the defense first. We'll get to the offense momentarily. But obviously, there are going to be some new faces up front when you lose the amount of players that Ohio did to graduation on the front line and then the linebacking core. But the strength is in the secondary.
Yeah, it's in the back, and especially safeties. We have corners who played a bunch of minutes, too. That's a weird thing with this Ohio defense. It's had some of the best front sevens, frankly, in team history over the last 5 years. This year, maybe a smidge of a question. I think they'll figure it out.
The coordinator, Jimmy Burrows, says he'd like that secondary to help lead the way.
In the back end, we're really working on improving our pass defense, and so then in that regard, it's very good to have two seasoned veterans that can make calls and checks and create some stability back in the back end, and hopefully that'll carry over to the inexperienced guys the rest of the team.
Yeah, the secondary is going to be star-studded. Javon Hagan, Kylan Nelson, and others. Who's going to be the next linebacker to lead the tote board in tackles? It appears to be Evan Crouch. He has 110 tackles in his Bobcat career to this point, 70 last year. We'll do a radio feature with him coming up that we'll share in the next couple of weeks, but he very well could be that next guy.
Yeah, and Jimmy Burrows said very importantly last year he played at an all-league level but was clearly overshadowed by Moore and by Quentin Poling. That's been the story here, though. Next guy up from the weak side of the middle is probably going to be your next star, and he's going to have to be that front seven, frankly, missing a lot of those starters' minutes.
Yeah, we'll get to know them in true starting fashion as we move forward. There are a lot of guys that we know on the offensive side of the football, and the question is, can they be even more productive than they were last year with the points and yards that they put up? But this is a unit where you really don't have to touch or tweak all that much because most everything they did last year with the variety of guys that they used worked.
Yeah, the line is fantastic. It's awesome. One of the best Ohio's had probably since 2013 is what Tim Albin said. Both tackles, he says, are guys who could play on Sundays. Essentially, everything inside the tackles is there. Quarterbacks, running backs are six deep. The questions, if there are any, tight end, and then outside of the splits.
Yeah, there's only one football last time I checked, and it's going to be slung around a lot. Offensive coordinator Tim Albin says that's fine. It's an unselfish unit. They're not worried about stats, with the exception of that scoreboard.
AJ, Julian, Malik, two quarterbacks. You got two really good receivers, and I think we're going to have to do what we do. And I really believe that the unselfishness of the team and our motto and what we're all about this year from the offseason. I don't think anybody's going to get involved in all the number thing.
And in the past couple of seasons, the special teams unit has been special. Coordinator Brian Haynes says he likes his guys. He should. They're all back.
Yeah, you return the whole package, long snapper, holder, all that stuff. You return a lot of the pieces that won a lot of games last season.
I've been asked the question of grandiose thoughts about playing in that Access Bowl as a champion of the MAC, hopefully for Ohio, and that's obviously goal number one. So let's think big picture here of how it could possibly get done. Well, my response was, you got to run the table, you got to win the MAC championship game. Hopefully somebody else in the MAC knocks off a couple of those raise the flag sort of MAC skull and crossbones sort of victories, and Northern Illinois might be that team, and you might see them twice. If all that happens, then it's Fiesta time?
Yeah, and that obviously would build strength of schedule for a team that doesn't have that many chances. But you look at it in September, obviously you got to get the wins in the two critical non-con games at Cincinnati, at Virginia. Those are manageable. That's not Alabama. You get those. You get this thing going northern and mid-October, and then close the season strong with Buffalo and Akron and Miami. This could be a special season.
Yeah, that's the hope. Virginia made it to a bowl game last year, lost to Navy, but the hope is that they're better in the ACC this year. Year two for Luke Fickell down at Cincinnati. We'll see them, and hopefully they improve too. And that northern game is homecoming in DeKalb, and maybe you see them again in Detroit. Who knows? All that breaks. Who knows what could happen? Ohio could be in the discussion. And head coach Frank Solich says he's fine with his guys dreaming big.
We want to go to MAC championship games. We want to win them. We want to be in the top 25 with regularity. We want to get in that special bowl. Those are all goals. You've got to take steps in order to get that done. That's what we're trying to do.
So that's Ohio Media Day. Next checkpoint in fall camp is the next scrimmage, and that will come up a week from today. There are 2 of those in advance of the opening game against Howard on September the 1st.
Yeah, likely that's next Friday the 17th, unless weather or something moves that or schedules that inside. But you'll learn a lot. But you're right. The one thing that's been key about this preseason practice is, frankly, trying to have less contact, trying not to get guys hurt, trying to not have two-a-days. It's a different approach, but Ohio's conditioned so well in the spring and summer, I'm not sure that's necessarily a negative. A lot of programs are kind of moving that way.
They're doing work back there. You can hear it. We're doing work right here. Jason Chapino is behind camera doing work as well. Good to see you, Rob.
Good to see you. See you at the scrimmage.
That's Rob Cornelius. I'm Russ Eisenstein. For Bobcat Media Day, this is Bobcat TV.